My name is Amani Grant-Pate, and this week I'm excited to have my guy, Mark Gunnels, with me here today. He works for Fox Sports in Los Angeles, and he's also a Lincoln University of Missouri alumni like myself. Thank you for joining me today, Mark.
Thanks for having me, man. It's a pleasure.
Anytime, Mark. I just want to give some background. I was a freshman at Lincoln when I met Mark, and we just clicked because we have a lot in common. We are passionate about sports. We are 2K players, Madden players, and we're also journalism majors. And Mark, I just want to thank you for being a mentor to me. You've taught me the importance of networking. You've encouraged me to get involved with Lincoln Athletics. And something that's inspiring about you is your phrase, be great. How would you define being great?
It's pretty self-explanatory, but you could take it however you want to. For me, it's just striving to be the best version of yourself. Oftentimes that a lot of people try to mimic other people or be somebody that they're not. But to me, it's just be the best you, because at the end of the day, nobody else can be you better than you can, right? So I just look at it like that. Just be the best version of yourself.
So what led to your decision to attend an HBCU?
Actually, to be honest with you, it happened like last minute because I went to a community college first in Kansas City called Longview Community College. I went there for a couple years. It didn't really pan out how I thought it was going to do. And I was still staying at my parents' house because it was literally like 5 minutes away from my home. So I wanted to find a way to go somewhere that's not too far from home, but far enough to where I moved out of my parents' house. So Lincoln University was perfect because it was only 2 hours away from Kansas City. And, it was very affordable to go there. It was really cheap, and I didn't really have scholarship money at the time. So I really needed to go somewhere that wasn't going to, make me go bankrupt, right? So Lincoln was just a great situation for me, and it ended up being one of the best decisions I ever made in my life because I'm very proud to say that I'm an HBCU alum.
How was your experience at Lincoln University of Missouri?
It was great, man. I mean, everything wasn't, it has ups and downs, but you learn how to really what's the word I'm looking for? You really learn how to use your resources there because there's stuff there for you. You just have to really find it and pursue it and be consistent with it, as you can allude to, I'm sure. So you know how it is. So you really have to just talk to the right people and just show them you're really serious about whatever your craft is, and those people will help you out. Definitely. A lot of people complain saying that there's not a lot of resources at HBCUs and things of that nature. And yeah, sure, it's not as many resources as like a Mizzou or something, right? But the advantage of going to a school like Lincoln is it's so much smaller than those big D1 schools. So it's not as much competition for those resources. Like if you went to a Mizzou, it would be like 1,000 kids trying to do the same thing you're doing. But at Lincoln, you can kind of just take over it and make it your own.
Like I was the only sports writer at Lincoln University of Missouri, and basically I was the face of Lincoln sports. And that's credit to you for helping me get involved.
Oh yeah, I mean, I saw it from the day that Cliff introduced us to each other. I saw a lot of myself in you, just a younger version. So I felt like it was just right for me to, pass it forward.
So why was journalism the major for you?
It wasn't really just journalism. It was just more about me being a sports fan, and it turned into journalism because growing up, I played sports all my life up until through high school. I didn't play college ball, but sports was always something that was ingrained in me from a little kid. I played basketball, baseball. I even played a little bit of football, like flag and tackle, a couple years. So, I've always been a sports fan. But once I realized that I wasn't good enough to be a professional athlete, I was like, okay, I got to find a way to still be involved in sports. So I'm like, what better way than to talk about it? So that's what led to me being a sports journalist.
That definitely makes sense, Mark. Now, we had some big news in the basketball world with Makir Maker deciding to attend Howard University. And Mikey Williams said that he's only deciding to choose HBCUs. Do you see any top prospects in the future, like teaming up together and playing for HBCU?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, just how life is. When somebody does it first, there's like a trickle effect, right? I mean, look at the NBA with LeBron when he went to Miami. That was like the first time we really saw a super team formed. And now you see it all the time now with KD and other guys now, you know what I'm saying? So with Maker going to HBCU, I think it's going to make other guys willing to make the same decision moving forward, because now it's like, okay, it's acceptable to do it now. Like, it's not going to be looked at as being weird, or, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
yeah.
I think him really doing that, he's a pioneer now. Like, he's going to be looked at in the history books as being the guy that did it first, because he's the highest ranked athlete to ever go to HBCU ever. He's like the 16th player, I think, in his class on ESPN's high school ranking. That's a big deal. And I think Mikey Williams will do the same thing as well. And then, you know, he's great friends with Bronny James. So it's a chance that they might want to team up. Who knows?
That would be cool to see some big time stars at some HBCUs.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you just look at it. I mean, it doesn't really matter nowadays, because if you're a top player, you're gonna be a top draft pick no matter where you go.
Right.
You can go like overseas. Like, look at LaMelo Ball. He went overseas. He's gonna be a top 3 pick in this year's draft. You don't have to go to a Kentucky, Kansas, Duke anymore to be.
So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you go, as long as you bring your like A game. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and you see guys going to the G League now.
Yeah.
That are just skipping college. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if you're a talent, you're a talent. You're going to get picked up regardless. So I think these players now are starting to realize the power they have. So if you got these guys going to like Howard's and Lincoln's or whatever, you know, I think it will bring more of a spotlight to HBCU basketball, because you're going to start seeing those games now on ESPN and CBS. They're going to be nationally televised with NBA scouts there, for sure.
So now getting back to you, Mark, what things did you do while you were at school that prepared you for your career?
Just really just being consistent, just being persistent in your craft, just really perfecting it. You know, I give a lot of credit to a lot of my professors throughout the year, especially Mr. Seitz. I know you're familiar with
he's
him.
A great guy.
Yeah, you know, and he's not even really a big sports fan, but he really just taught the fundamentals of journalism, you know, the steps you have to go to become an elite journalist in whatever field you're in, whether it's politics, sports, music, it doesn't matter. Like, it's all has the same fundamental backgrounds. So I really applaud a lot of that as well. And just being on the sports scene there, you know, at the time, I was the only sports writer for Lincoln, you know, so I was covering the basketball team, football team. I even did a little bit of baseball at Lincoln as well. So, yeah, just doing that, just really, I helped prepare me, because I felt like at the time, you know, I was the sports guy at Lincoln, just like you were just recently. So, you know, I felt like I was the face of the Lincoln sports. So it really helped me prepare to where I'm at now.
So you've worked at Fox Sports for 3 years now. Can you tell us exactly what your role is at Fox?
Yeah, so my title is production assistant. So I worked at Speak for Yourself at first with Jason Willock and Marcellus Wiley. But recently I switched over to Undisputed with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. The same title, but I'm doing a little bit more now. So what I do is every morning, before the pandemic, we'll meet on campus at Fox. We'll have an early morning meeting. Skip and Shannon will be in the room, and they'll go over the topics for the show of the day. So then I'll go back into the control room, and I'm cutting the highlight tapes for whatever the topics are that day. So I'm cutting the video, and then now sometimes I even help out with the graphics, even with the topic bars. Like, you know, when you see a topic and it's like, what's coming up next? And I'll be the person that makes that, you know. And I also help send emails in the morning to pitch ideas for topics. So if I see something online that I think is a topic worthy, I will pitch that idea, and it may or may not make the show, but I'm at least pitching the idea.
Okay, well, those who may not know, Mark has a podcast called Mark My Words. When did that idea come about?
Well, it's something that was long overdue. I should have done it years ago, honestly. I've always wanted to have a podcast show, because I just feel like I have a lot to say. But, you know, it just came about just naturally. You know, we're in the era of podcasts now, and I've been writing for almost 10 years. So I felt like I wanted to branch out more besides just text. I wanted people to hear my voice and see me talk more as well. I want to be more well-rounded in my profession. So it was just long overdue, and the title was pretty self-explanatory. My name is Mark, so
Yeah.
Mark My Words was like pretty perfect because I make a lot of hot takes. So mark my words.
What are some accomplishments that you are most proud of in your career so far?
I would definitely say just building the platform that I've built so far, just my brand. I mean, especially my Twitter. I just feel like I have a really nice following, people that really take my opinion very seriously. I think that's very valuable. I'm a source to a lot of people out there and have been for years. So I take that with a lot of pride, and just my writing over the years. I mean, I wrote for several websites throughout the years, and I have a lot of good material out there that I could pitch to other corporations if I want to get a higher writing job. So just that, and just my consistency, man. I just feel like I've been really consistent throughout the years, and now I'm here at Fox Sports and living in Los Angeles. I mean, it's like a dream come true.
Nice. Mark, can you share some advice for some journalists that are trying to get some work in the field?
My advice would be is, first of all, you just want to figure out exactly what's your lane, right? Because everybody has their own lane. So once you figure out what your lane is, then you'll hit your target market, because we're in a time now where, the following and stuff on social media, that stuff kind of matters, because
Definitely.
once you bring that to a company, they'll be like, oh, wow, this guy actually already has something going on. We don't have to mold him 100%. He already has something to bring to the table, So once you already have something established on your own, it makes yourself more presentable to other people, because you don't have to just build you up from scratch,
Right.
So I would just advise people to focus on building your own brand, figure out your lane, and really attack that. If your lane is making videos and you're kind of funny with your stuff, then have a comedic angle to your sports takes. But if you're more of a serious sports guy, then take that lane. If you're a writer, be a writer. But you don't have to just do one thing though. Your lane could be
versatile.
it could be multiple things in your lane. So it doesn't have to be just one thing. I don't want you to think that. So just figure out what you exactly want to do and attack that. And also, I would say another big thing is building your connections, your network. That's very, very key in this field. Who you know is very, very important. So, go to these conventions and, tag people on social media. Don't be annoying with it though. But, just try to get yourself out there in a proper way and build connections with people.
Who are some of your favorite journalists that you like to watch right now?
Colin Cowherd is one of my favorites for sure. Stephen A. Smith, I always got respect for Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, he's a GOAT for sure.
Man. Chris Broussard. I like Chris Broussard a lot. Rob Parker.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a lot, man. I don't want to just name, because I'll miss some and I'll be mad later. But, yeah, it's a lot out there. Jamil Hill. I like Jamil Hill a lot, too, as well. So, yeah.
All right, Mark, I want to thank you for your time. And that's 101 with Mark Gunnels. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you.